Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Once you're able to see it, just say yes in chat box. Okay, yeah. We are seeing about this ergonomic traps, then decision to error. So while taking the proper decision, if you're not taken the decision correctly, then it leads to the human error, then system failures. Along with that, human errors. Additionally, system failures also will leads to accident, resulting in injury or damage. This is a one kind of model how accidents will happen. And there is another model which is modern accident causation theory. So here also you could see some similarities with the previous model. So here they majorly focusing on, they are telling that safety management error, then it leads to a program defect, maybe a command error, system defect, operating error, mishap. It is nothing but the accidents or explosion, etc. So how we can say a safety management error? Any examples? Yeah, nobody? Error means that it is not only a mistake. Even if the systems are not there also, it is an error. It is in a non-compliance. Don't think that if error
No,
means,
so like our first example, the safety policy is not up to the mark.
yeah, this that is also one management error. So then what will happen? The resulting, it will become a safety program defect. So what will the safety program defect? So they have not identified the programs, or they have not identified the hazards properly. They have not done proper training programs to the people. Even sometimes a command error, for example, in case of any leakage happens in a system, if they have not informed well, or they have not communicated well, or they have not given the right direction to act on, then also it leads to an accident. Then system defects, whatever the system which they are following for their process, or for the as a safety controls, it is in a defective system or the fault in the system, then also it leads to accidents. Then operating errors, or operating errors are maybe a mission operations, or the procedure they are not following properly, or they are not running the machines at the appropriate speed or as per the OEM's specifications, then resulting into a mishap. It is nothing but an accident or explosion. The result will be either an injury or property damage or environmental pollution. Here they have not mentioned anything. It is leads to only injury or only damage. The results, definitely the mishap is nothing but it is an explosion or unwanted event. It definitely leads to injury, property damage, or environmental pollution if it is in a chemical accident or it is in a chemical plant. Then accident sequence model. This is another model. Here they are assuming that cultural aspects and system aspects, exposure, and targets. So here the cultural aspects, they have values, beliefs, and goals, and the culture of the company. Then the system aspects, they're talking about hazard identification and training, maintenance, procurement systems, etc. Then exposure, conditions in the workplace, a state of an equipment, like the condition of the equipment what they are using. Then reduced incident, near miss man days, and near miss man days lost, and sickness. What we understand from this model? What do we understand?
A company having a safety culture, which is emphasizing on their cultural aspect, that values of the people, working crew, their beliefs and their role, and is working on their behavioral aspect basically. And then going to system aspect, that you have all risk assessment and management system in place. So exposure to condition and workplace state equipment, etc. You will have better safety at the workplace.
Yeah,
So you achieve your targets of reducing incident near misses and million man hours loss work cases like that.
we can reduce the loss cases. Yes,
Yes.
very well. Then we have the Swiss cheese model, which is done by the one of the author. So if you see here, what is happening, anybody can correlate based on this model.
Failure of several layers of protection may lead to hazard accident.
Yeah, it is nothing but the hazard is allowed to pass all the protection layers which you have. There is a hazard. These all the pieces of, you can I think I can take the other one. Yeah, hence it is the cheese. You should look the cheese. So these are the various layers of the protection systems which are there in your shop floor. So if you see the holes which are there in the cheese, there are the weak points in the system. So if we say weak point, what we can say? So for example, if I take these slices or 4 different active the protection systems in my process, if I take one is a training, and also I can say supervision or monitoring on the procedures or the people behavior. So if the training is not done properly, so the hazard can pass from the first cheese. Then if the supervisor is not supervising the people activity, so then what will happen if the people are doing mistake, or if the equipment is a fault, become a fault, or it is not working properly, again the hazard will pass from the other cheese. Then the procedures or the practices, there is a loophole or the sequence of work activity which is not properly defined, then also it will cross through the other cheese or other layer. Then the workers are taking shortcuts. What will happen? Then it will pass through the all the layers. Then it will leads to an accident, resulting in a damage. Again, here taking only hazard. The hazard is passing through the all the layers of your. If you see a latent conditions is nothing but all underlying problems which is there from the past or from so many years. Okay, so if there is any such a kind of loopholes, this basically this system is used to manage the underlying problems in the in our safety systems, and also sometimes it will be used for the critical industries like and even aviation and healthcare and other manufacturing sectors. So if in other case, if the hazard is not passing through, it is tried for 2 times. I have given training, but the people are not listened properly, or my training program is not effective. So it is passed through the first layer. In the second layer, my equipments. or the supervisor, he is supervised well. If the mission is not running in a proper manner, he is seen immediately, he corrected it. So this hazard is diverted. In second case, my training also failed and the supervision also failed, but the procedures he followed. Even the machine is not working, in the work instruction, it is clearly mentioned that if you have observed any unknown noise, any vibration, you have to stop the machine immediately. So the procedure worked well here. So immediately the machine operator, he stopped the equipment. Then here also the hazard be deviated or diverted. So this is how the Swiss cheese model works. It talks about how you are the protection layers, or it identifies the gaps in your safety controls, and also underlying issues in your systems and practices. Okay. Next. Then hazard hierarchy control. We have seen all these models, and even we have discussed also. I think this slide we have not seen, but we have discussed. So how we can see the hazard hierarchy control? As I mentioned, a PP is the least effective, and the elimination is the most effective. So here what will happen? So whenever you are trying to remove hazard in your workplace, we always follow this hierarchy. We always look for an elimination process. So whether the hazard which is there, it can be possible to remove physically or permanently. And as I taken a chemical example in the last class, so if I'm using highly harmful or a dangerous chemical or any carcinogens, so my product is very good in the sense that is the customer requirement. If I replace with the other chemical, which is not the carcinogen or not cancer causing chemical, but the quality of the product is same. So I'm substituting the less hazardous chemical with the high hazardous chemical. Then in such case also still there are a few gaps, or the leakage happens, even though it is less hazardous. It is not like a water, but still it is hazardous. Then I'll put some engineering controls like isolation of people, putting sensors, and putting exhaust system, and putting process controls, emergency shut off, or emergency cooling systems in case of any exothermic reaction happens. All my cooling systems are ready in case of any excess pressure builds in the vessel. So I have a rupture disk, I have a separated relief valve connecting to the dump tank, then it will go to the dump tank. Then administrative controls. So there I do a proper training. I will explain all the relevant hazards with respect to this process and the chemicals, what they are handling with. And also I'll put all the do's and don'ts for the handling of wells in case of any leakage, in case of any spillage, or in case of any exposure to that chemical accidentally, and also in case of any contamination with that chemical, in case of any fire event happens. So what type of extinguishing media is supposed to use? So I have put all the administrative controls. And finally, I give the PPs also. In case of these controls fails, so somehow we can minimize the exposure or the effect of event on a person. So hence always it is a least control. I always used to see in the most of the investigation reports. So finally, how we do? Any guess? Most of the are common causes of accidents we used to written in the investigations, or we used to say that these are the causes, common causes.
Didn't wear PP can't kill.
Yes, perfect answer, Srinivas.
Yes.
So wherever an accident happens, to close that case, like how police people used to close the case, they close the case. It is in even though it is a pure or planned murder, so they used to write that it is in a hit and run case, so that the case is closed. Even a fire accident happens, Maybe it would have happened because of static electricity, but still, how will they'll try to close short circuit? Okay. Any other cases? Any other situation or any other cause we commonly use to close these investigations?
Not given training as a
Okay, not given training. It is. It is not an immediately people will try to write, because it'll come and
like procedure deviation as a wheels.
yes, they used to say that
Mostly, sir,
hello. Yeah, Shabir.
Mostly we write down poor workmanship, due to which this accident happened.
Correct. Perfect answer. How many reports you have written like that, Jabir?
2-3 times.
Okay. So basically, these are the two causes we used to write. One is not using the required PPE. In other cause we write is not followed the procedure, because there is no solid evidence for that. So we can simply close, and corrective action will be giving a training program and making sure that the supervision has to be there while performing an activity. So investigation khatam, case close ho gaya. So, but we have to see why he is not using the PPE at that situation. Maybe because of a discomfort, or the PP is heavy, or the PP is, worn out ho gaya. It is a wear and tear, or it is not giving sufficient, or the PPE which he is using, it is not suitable for that activity, or it is giving any itching, maybe some kind of metals, even especially the leather gloves. So somebody, for them, it is incompatible. They won't have good feel of it. And also the usability. In the PPE selection criteria, that is very important. Usability, whether it is easy to use, or whether it is allowing a person to perform his activity without any obstruction or without any issue. So all these things happen. Even if you say a training, so you can't simply write a training. So if the training is not given, it is fine. So who is not given the training? If it is in a safety related, again, it will come back and hit to us. If the training is not effective, he is not aware. If you say he is not aware, so again, you will dig it back. So why he is not aware? Whether he has gone through all the induction, or whether he's gone to the on-the-job training. If it is a small case, it is fine. In case of any fatal case happens, so the factories inspector dig all these things. So why he is there, when he is joined, what is his shift, how many hours he is doing. They will take the track record of that, and he will take the complete training file of that person. So how many trainings he has attended. So what is the activity he is performing, whether he is capable to do that, and who is the supervisor, whether the supervisor is capable to do supervise that activity, what kind of PP is supposed to be used, and what is the PPs he is using at the time of activity. So these many things will happen. The safety job, it is not so easy. So production people will think that आया तो सेफ्टी वाला इधर उधर घूमेगा, 2 पंच 1 लंच करके बाहर जाएगा. No, that is the toughest job ever. So we have to coordinate from the most person to the lowest person, from the housekeeping or तक हम लोग handle करना पड़ता है. So we should be always have a presence of mind. Don't get deviate, and don't get I can say influenced by the people. So if you got, once you influenced, they will always try to take you for a ride. So don't get influence the people. Don't give a chance. So you follow your procedures and go forward. Okay, fine. This hierarchy control, which starts from elimination till PP. Elimination is the highest or most effective control, and PP is going to the least effective control. Okay, any questions?
Sir, so out of those few models, any model we are widely using for doing any accident investigation, or any model having
these models are not for the investigation actually. These models are how the accident happens. These are the various reasons which resulting into the accident. These are not investigation models. If you say investigation models, we have YY analysis, we have Ishikawa fishbone diagram, 5W1H, even we have fault tree analysis, event tree analysis that we'll get in the upcoming sessions. These all are causation models only. कैसे एक्सीडेंट हो सकता है, क्या क्या कारण हो सकता है.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, one basic doubt. It might be funny, but I would like to put upon.
No problem.
We were discussing about some names like Henrich model or XYZ, some person's name model, right?
Yeah.
So long back, that person Henrich might have done some research, and he has come up with some fantastic output, which industry might have adapted, and seeing the result, some other industries might have adapted. But my question is there any body or any governing authority who validates such concepts or such theories and allow the industry to follow? Why? Because anything today or tomorrow, any Tom, Dick, and Harry may come up with another concept, and how things work behind. I just want to know.
Okay, fine. A nice question. So if you see these models, so for example, if you see in a research papers, so definitely they'll have a theory kind of thing, and they do research and they publish the papers. So if it is following or not, it is up to us whether I can follow that approach. For example, we used to do the carbon sequestration. So carbon sequestration is nothing but, I'll take the example is out. So there is a plant which is 10 years old. I used to calculate the per year how many kilos of CO2 which is